Well, hello folks, welcome to the live show today. Just starting off the live stream. Welcome everyone. Good to have you with us. So I don't know if you've heard about this. This has been going on today. The trade war with the tariffs between the US and Canada and Mexico, and also just lots of division really. It's just so much going on at the moment, as I'm sure you can see. Almost daily there's just, a lot of things going on in the world, particularly relating to the US, which is why we cover some of this. Canada here, British nuclear weapons can protect Canada against Trump, says Trudeau party candidate. Chrystia Freeland says Canada should build closer security partnerships with NATO allies as US President is, quote, threatening sovereignty. So, if you watch many of these lives, you've seen over the past few days and weeks that we've been covering a lot of the things that have been going on. And, just, as I said, just so much division at the moment in the West, it seems. And this tariff war that's unfolded, I think this started midnight last night. Canada and Mexico, Trump is putting these tariffs on Canada and Mexico, 25%. But I cover things on here that really could potentially affect people's lives. And obviously we don't know how things will unfold over time, but Wall Street, the stock market took a hit, and I know that these things can eventually affect people on their day-to-day lives, so I thought I would bring these things to your attention because this is a big situation that's been unfolding. But Trudeau, Canada will not back down from a fight. Canada has retaliated to these tariffs that Donald Trump has put on Canada, with 25% back, I believe. So there's a lot of talk in terms of how people think that these things could affect people's day-to-day lives. And I think people in the US, I'm not out there myself, but I think people have said that it has already affected them. You'll have to tell me that in the live chat if that's the case. Please do let me know in the live chat if you're in the US. If you've noticed anything increasing in price, but I know things have got quite difficult for people in general. Same over here actually in the UK as well. So it's just the times we're in. It's energy prices are just ridiculous. Anyway, Then Trump has slammed back at Governor Trudeau of Canada for, quote, escalating tariff trade war that caused market plunge. So a lot of different things being thrown around. But this is just unfolded today. So I've got a couple of clips from this, and I'll show you them in a second. Trudeau's speech a bit earlier, and also the Senate in the USA, which just happened about 20 minutes ago. But we'll also be live later on tonight. We have what is it tonight? Here we go. We have there's supposedly some protests in the USA at around 8:45 p.m. EST, and also there's the Trump addresses a joint session of Congress for the first time. So that's around 8:30-ish tonight. So we'll be showing that live. So again, we always show these things to give you an idea of what's going on. This is not a political broadcast. I'm sure, as you're aware, that this is not a political channel. Sometimes some people say, why do you show some of the political things that are going on? Well, because it's obviously very central to what's unfolding in the world, as well as other things. There's a lot of things going on. But right now, a lot of this seems to be, there's a lot of political situations and dynamics and trajectories going on. So we're just trying to show you what's going on here in terms of the times we're in, and provide a place for people to chat about it and to obviously discuss it. We are from a Christian perspective, a biblical perspective, so that's something we also look at, and more so in the future. I think we'll change this broadcast up in time. So I'll go into that another time. But it says Mexico says it will impose retaliatory tariffs on US, with details coming on Sunday. So that's Mexico's response. Mexico's president said Tuesday the country will respond to the 25% tariffs imposed by the United States with retaliatory tariffs on US goods, with details to come. Mexico will announce the targeted products and other measures Sunday in Mexico City's Central Plaza, a delay that suggests Mexico hopes to de-escalate the trade war set off by US President Donald Trump. And then there's also talk in other over here about, well, there's the how this could affect the UK if Trump spares Britain. Imposed 25% US tariffs on Mexico and Canada and doubled those on China from 10% to 20%. Will they lead to price rises, and should we be worried in the UK? So, yeah, this is all over the world, folks, and obviously, as I said, we don't know what's going to happen, but I just show you what's being discussed here. In the last couple of days, there's been some mention of this new term they've called Trumpcession. Talk surges as US economy could be rapidly shrinking. This outlet is more central, so it's not more biased to the left or to the right, as far as I'm aware. But they talk about the fears that some people have of a potential recession under President Donald Trump, dubbed a Trumpcession, are mounting as consumer confidence dips and economic concerns grow amid steep tariffs and persistent inflation. So, yeah, the Economist cover, yeah, Daryl, there was that, it said Trump's New World Order, didn't it, on the Economist cover. So, yeah, I don't know the future in terms of this. And then there was, see all the threats being thrown around, so divided in the West at the moment. They need to feel the pain. Canadian lawmaker threatens to switch off energy to US over tariffs war. Canada is the leading source of US crude oil imports. Imposing tariffs will likely raise prices for Americans and Canadians. So, yeah, that's kind of the update I wanted to give you. Again, none of these things are to promote fear. Obviously, we know that God is in control, but it's good to be vigilant sometimes about what's being discussed and what's going on. And that's our goal here. But this is the Senate in the US about 20 minutes ago. I will play you one of the announcements or speeches that were given after the Senate came and gave updates to the press, and then I will show you Justin Trudeau's response to the tariffs here.
Thank you. What is the State of the Union? That's a big question today. And I can tell you this, that chaos is up, corruption is up, and costs are up. Just ask anyone in the egg aisle. 25% up wholesale prices of eggs. That's a fact. And by the way, the threats of the tariffs and now the actual tariffs are actually already having their effect. Coffee prices today up 23%, lumber prices up 14%. And these tariffs, once they take the full-fledged effect, once we see the retaliatory tariffs from what were some of our best friends and allies, it's only going to get worse. This is not what people signed up for. I get that people wanted change. I get that they wanted someone to shake things up to work on bringing healthcare costs down and doing something about housing. But they didn't want this. That is not what they wanted. So Democrats are fighting this in the courts and winning so many of these cases. We're fighting this in Congress to hold them accountable. And we're fighting it with our constituents by our sides. And those are the people that I hope you focus on today. Our guests, You heard about some of them today when we were out on the Senate steps. I give you a few more examples. Senator Shaheen is bringing a small business owner who is going to focus on Trump's tariffs and what they have, the effect they're going to have on small businesses. Senator Hickenlooper and Senator Smith are bringing laid off Forest Service employees. Who lays off Forest Service employees right when we are dealing with everything from the summer season coming upon us? That's what a lot of families do that don't have a lot of money. That's where they go for their vacations. Or why would we lay them off when we're dealing with threats of wildfires right now? Senator Cantwell has brought a researcher from Washington State that I got to talk to last night. Veterans, Senator Gallego, a veteran himself, is bringing a veteran from New Mexico who relies on the VA for the health care. I'm bringing a third-generation farmer from Minnesota. So I hope you join us at 4:15 in the LBJ room, where we're not going to talk for a change. I know that's exciting. We're going to actually have the real people that are affected by Donald Trump and by Elon Musk and by the Republicans who refuse to stand up. All it would take is 3 of them in the House of Representatives or 4 of them in the United States Senate to stand up to all of this, but they're not, and it's important that you hear the real people's stories. Not just the people that is laid off, as bad as that is, and fired, but also the people that are getting affected already with more to come. Why? They're looking for money. They're looking for money for these $2 trillion of tax cuts for billionaires and wealthy people. They're looking at it by cutting Medicaid. They're looking at it by cutting cancer research. They're looking at it by cutting avian flu workers on the front line. They said that was a mistake, and now they can't rehire all of them back. One of my mentors in politics, Paul Wellstone, who rode his green bus into this town and was quite a character walking around the halls of this Senate. Some of you may remember him. He once said that politics is about improving people's life. What they're doing, and what we're going to hear from President Trump tonight, that's not about improving people's life. That's about good TV, grandstanding, and the Oval Office was one of our best allies, a man who stood up against a dictator. It's about grandstanding in terms of taking on our allies when it comes to tariffs, and it is not helping the American people. That's our case. People are listening. The latest CBS poll, 52% of Americans say that Donald Trump's policies are making grocery prices go up, and only 14% think his policies are making grocery prices go down. That's a number to remember.
Corey.
We live in a country right now where we're seeing prices for groceries going up and people's confidence in this economy going down. This is very simple. We live in a nation right now where the public health threats are going up, from measles outbreaks to the challenge we're having with bird flu, and people's confidence in this president handling those things is going down. This is very simple. We're seeing tariffs going up and people's pension funds and 401ks, the values of them going down. This is very obvious what's happening. We see frustration with this president going up and his approval rating continue to go down. And so tonight we're going to have history happen. The most unpopular president in modern American history, with the exception of the first time he was in office, is going to give a speech to the American people and have zero to report about what he did to address the issues he said he would address in his campaign. He said clearly and unequivocally, on day one, I will drive down the cost of living for Americans. Well, rent is up, eggs are up, and people's confidence and his ability to handle the economy has gone way down. By his own measure, so far, we are going to hear from a president who will stand before the American people, by his own measure, as a failure.
Thank you, Corey. Okay. Yes, Manu.
Can Eric Adams effectively run your city, or should he resign?
Yeah.
I'm not.
So, yeah, that's they talk a lot about the eggs. Is that true in the US? Is the eggs the egg price has gone up. I've heard a lot of people talking about egg prices, but yeah, so this is really just to give you an update. I don't want to get into their politics here, left and right, you know, but just to show you kind of what's been discussed today. Eggs are sky high, are they? Where's that, Shawnee? Eggs are sky high. Bitter Klinger says eggs aren't up. But yeah, I mean, the prices here in the UK are definitely very high, and the energy prices are going up again in April. And it's already, you know, just to even use the heating is just so expensive. You just use, if you want to use the heating as normal, it's just, you end up hundreds in energy costs every month now. It's just, the cost of living is definitely high, not just in the US, but... so we'll see what unfolds with this, right? And as I said, this trade war with Canada is currently going on, and also Mexico, it seems. So I will show you now the response from Justin Trudeau. Oh, that was the wrong one. The response from Justin Trudeau, which is here. This was in Ottawa, not in Washington DC. I'll just show you the response from Justin Trudeau. And also, as I said, we will have the live later on with this first address to Congress, because there may be some things in it that are of interest to gauge the climate. As I said, there's just so much going on with every day now. It seems, especially politically at the moment, right? There's just so many changes going on. So just trying to cover what's happening here. We will also have the Blood Moon live, which is on. Is that the 14th of March? We'll have some live coverage of that as well. But yeah, this is Canada's response to this current situation with the trade war, and I believe Justin Trudeau said it's dumb. So I'll show you this now.
So today, the United States launched a trade war against Canada, their closest partner and ally, their closest friend. At the same time, they're talking about working positively with Russia, appeasing Vladimir Putin, a lying, murderous dictator. Make that make sense. Canadians are reasonable, and we are polite, but we will not back down from a fight. Not when our country and the well-being of everyone in it is at stake. At the moment, the US tariffs came into effect in the early hours of this morning, and so did the Canadian response. Canada will be implementing 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods, starting with tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods immediately, and tariffs on the remaining $125 billion of American products in 21 days' time. Encore aujourd'hui, on se voit forcé d'imposer des droits de douane de 25% sur 155 milliards de dollars américains de marchandises. 30 milliards de marchandises américaines, excusez-moi. 30 milliards de dollars de façon immédiate, et dans 21 jours, 125 milliards de dollars de marchandises de plus. Ongoing discussions with provinces and territories to pursue several non-tariff measures. Measures which will demonstrate that there are no winners in a trade war. Now, just like I did a month ago, I want to speak first directly to the American people. We don't want this. We want to work with you as a friend and ally. And we don't want to see you hurt either. But your government has chosen to do this to you. As of this morning, markets are down, and inflation is set to rise dramatically all across your country. Your government has chosen to put American jobs at risk at the thousands of workplaces that succeed because of materials from Canada or because of consumers in Canada, or both. They've chosen to raise costs for American consumers on everyday essential items like groceries and gas, on major purchases like cars and homes, and everything in between. They've chosen to harm American national security, impeding access to the abundant critical minerals, energy, building materials, and fertilizers that we have and that the United States needs to grow and prosper. They've chosen to launch a trade war that will, first and foremost, harm American families. They've chosen to sabotage their own agenda that was supposed to usher in a new golden age for the United States. And they've chosen to undermine the incredible work we've done together to tackle the scourge that is fentanyl, a drug that must be wiped from the face of the earth. So on that point, let me be crystal clear. There is absolutely no justification or need whatsoever for these tariffs today. Now, the legal pretext your government is using to bring in these tariffs is that Canada is apparently unwilling to help in the fight against illegal fentanyl. Well, that is totally false. Let's look at the facts. Our border is already safe and secure. Far less than 1% of fentanyl flows and less than 1% of illegal crossings into the United States comes from Canada. But we acted because we know we can always do better. We responded to concerns, including from the President, by implementing an ambitious $1.3 billion border plan. A border plan that includes generational investments in new AI and imaging tools to stop the flow of fentanyl in its tracks, stronger coordination and information sharing with American agencies, along with the deployment of drones, helicopters, and additional personnel to keep our border secure. Now, a month ago, as part of an agreement with the United States that paused the tariffs, we made further commitments. We appointed Kevin Brasseau as our fentanyl czar, a man who dedicated his multi-decade career in law enforcement to combating organized crime networks and drug trafficking. We designated 7 drug cartels, sick, evil groups who cynically profit off the pain and suffering of people on both sides of the border, as the terrorist organizations that they are. And just yesterday, we launched a new joint operations partnership supported by a $200 million investment between Canada's security and law enforcement agencies, a partnership that will enhance the coordination of information and intelligence in order to thwart criminal gangs involved in the illegal fentanyl trade. And critically, our actions are working. As the U.S. Customs and Border Protection just acknowledged, there was a 97% drop in fentanyl seizures from January compared to December, to a near zero low of less than half an ounce seized in January, even with all the further enforcements and actions we've taken at the borders. In sum, we stepped up. We engaged closely and constructively with the President and his administration. We did everything we promised. We stuck to our word. And we did it because we believe in working together to protect our citizens. Now I want to speak directly to one specific American, Donald. In the over 8 years you and I have worked together, we've done big things. We signed a historic deal that has created record jobs and growth in both of our countries. We've done big things together on the world stage, as Canada and the US have done together for decades, for generations. And now we should be working together to ensure even greater prosperity for North Americans in a very uncertain and challenging world. Now, it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal, but Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do. We two friends fighting is exactly what our opponents around the world want to see. And now, to my fellow Canadians, I won't sugarcoat it. This is going to be tough, even though we're all going to pull together, because that's what we do. We will use every tool at our disposal so Canadian workers and businesses can weather this storm. From expanding EI benefits and making them more flexible to providing direct supports to businesses, we will be there as needed to help. But Canada, make no mistake, no matter how long this lasts, no matter what the cost, the federal government and other orders of government will be there for you. We will defend Canadian jobs. We will take measures to prevent predatory behavior that threatens Canadian companies because of the impacts of this trade war, leaving them open to takeovers. We will relentlessly fight to protect our economy. We will stand up for Canadians every single second of every single day, because this country is worth fighting for. Les derniers mois ont été stressants et honnêtement épuisants pour nous tous. Mais je crois qu'on peut le Canada avec une ferveur sans précédent. À travers vents et marées, les Canadiens peuvent toujours.
Yep, so there you go. I'll leave that one there. Speaking in French. So that's really to show you what's been going on, and it's just I'll show you before I finish this the Economist cover that people have been talking about. Trump, but it's just, to me, it's just a lot of division, isn't there? A lot of infighting at the moment in the West, especially in the last few days. So that's kind of what we've been seeing going on. And he mentioned there that we were promised a golden age, but of course we know that the only true hope for that kind of talk is the return of Jesus. So that's the only hope we actually have in terms of true peace, justice, when Jesus Christ returns. So I think it's just something to keep an eye on, and also obviously with these things it's quite often the average person that is affected by these things. So if there is anyone that is struggling and suffering out there, and we hope that it will have minimal impact ultimately, the things that we're seeing at the moment, but I hope that people stay strong through the times we're in. We see a lot of different changes in the world. I'm trying to bring this Economist cover up. I can only really get it onto there. It's a bit small, but I don't know if you saw that Economist cover. You can kind of see it there. It says the Don's New World Order there. And just really does seem like a lot of things in the world's, quote, world order at the moment is being shaken up and changed. And so, yeah, definitely interesting times we're in. The birth pangs, right? So since we started doing the videos on this channel, I just, so far this year, it's just been so rapid, so many rapid changes in the world. So it's quite profound to see the times we're in. And ultimately what the Bible says is the authority, and that is what will happen, and that is what will come to pass. So, yeah, We will, as I said, we'll be live later on. I think we will cover this event that's coming on later, the first address to Congress. It seems that a lot of people are talking about that, so that might be something worth covering later on. If you're around, it's in a few hours' time. Let me see. Let me just get you the time. I think it starts around 8:30 p.m. GMT. EST, around that sort of time. Maybe a bit afterwards. So keep your eye out for that. It's the first joint session of Congress, the address, J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, and yeah, just maybe worth, if anyone wants to see what is discussed there. So you can come back here and watch with us here if you want to. So anyway, thanks for watching, folks, and I hope you're all well, and see you soon.